Today's video begins with a small tribute to a legend who defined the aesthetic ideal of bodybuilding in his era, Arnold Schwarzenegger. A name that Iron fans speak with almost sacred respect. He was a 7-time Mr. Olympia champion, a multiple-time Mr. Universe winner, and during the 1970s, he ruled the bodybuilding world without question. To this day, he is considered the most famous bodybuilder of all time. Thanks to his physique, he was even listed in the Guinness Book of Records as the most perfectly developed man in the world. For me personally, Arnold was always a massive inspiration. As a kid, I watched Pumping Iron over and over again and dreamed that one day I might look at least half as good as him. Arnold's success didn't come only from titles, but from his unique physique and unmatched charisma. He stood about 188 centimeters tall and weighed roughly 107 kilograms on stage. With enormous shoulders, a wide chest, a narrow waist, and iconic biceps like mountains. He was the embodiment of the golden era ideal: perfect symmetry, muscularity, and aesthetics combined into one package. In his time, Arnold simply meant perfection, but what if we place that legend into today's conditions? Imagine a hypothetical scenario. On the stage of the classic physique division, a category designed specifically to reflect Arnold's era, suddenly appears Arnold Schwarzenegger himself in his peak 1970s condition. And standing right next to him are today's classic physique stars, athletes like Urs Kalaschinski, the young German talent nicknamed the Miracle Bear, Ramon Dino Queiroz, the Brazilian phenom with incredible symmetry, or the 4-time classic physique champion Chris Bumstead. Who would take the gold? Would the legendary Arnold still win against today's elite, or would he look old school next to modern competitors? Chris Bumstead recently stated that if Arnold showed up today, with only the conditioning he had in the 1970s, he would lose, and lose comfortably. That statement sparked intense debate among fans and veterans alike. But the goal of this comparison is not to disrespect Arnold or diminish his legacy. Arnold remains an icon, and his status is untouchable. The real point is to show how dramatically bodybuilding has evolved over the decades. After all, the classic physique category itself was introduced in 2016 as a tribute to Arnold's golden era. Yet since Arnold's time, not only training methods and nutrition have changed, the physical standards of bodybuilding have shifted as well, even in the very category inspired by his ideal. As Chris Bumstead correctly pointed out, everything moves forward over time. Nutrition, training, supplementation, and enhancement protocols are far more advanced today, allowing athletes to push the limits of the human body further than ever before. Open bodybuilding is on an entirely different level today. Modern open pros often step on stage weighing over 130 kilograms with extremely low body fat, something unimaginable in Arnold's era. And even in classic physique, where athletes are smaller and lighter than open competitors, the standards of conditioning have reached new extremes. The biggest difference between Arnold's golden era and today's classic physique scene lies in conditioning and detail. In the 1970s, things like glute striations or deeply separated quadriceps simply weren't a concern. The focus was on a massive yet harmonious overall look. Today, classic physique competitors step on stage with conditioning nearly as sharp as open bodybuilders. Striated glutes, feathered quads, razor-thin skin, virtually zero subcutaneous fat that exposes every muscular detail. What's fascinating is that despite this extreme leanness, modern classic competitors often weigh about the same as Arnold did. Chris Bumstead, for example, stands around 185 centimeters tall and weighs approximately 108 kilograms on stage. Nearly identical numbers to Arnold at his peak. The difference is that modern athletes can present that weight with far greater hardness, sharpness, and detail. Arnold's physique. perfection of its time. Arnold Schwarzenegger in 1974, at the height of his powers, is still considered the pinnacle of aesthetic bodybuilding. He was known for his extraordinarily wide chest and massive arms, combined with a narrow waist, creating that iconic V-taper silhouette. At his peak, Arnold stood around 188 centimeters tall and weighed roughly 107 kilograms on stage, while maintaining a single-digit body fat percentage. But his approach was about shape and fullness, not extreme dryness. Arnold preferred round, full muscles and flowing lines rather than paper-thin skin and deep striations. As modern champion Chris Bumstead once noted, bodybuilders in Arnold's era were not extremely shredded. The emphasis was on fullness and aesthetics. Arnold also possessed unmatched charisma and stage presence. On stage, he looked completely at home. His posing was deliberate, confident, and designed to showcase his strengths. His physique represented the ideal of naturally beautiful bodybuilding of that era. How standards changed. During the Golden Era, emphasis was placed on symmetrical, athletic-looking physiques with full muscles and clean lines, not on extreme definition. Top bodybuilders were estimated to compete at around 8% body fat, and going leaner than that was often considered unnecessary or even undesirable. In contrast, today's classic physique demands surgical precision. Competitors must meet strict weight limits based on height while presenting maximum muscular hardness, symmetry, and conditioning. Judges now look for a balance of size, razor-sharp definition, and perfect proportions. The category was created to revive classic lines, and Arnold himself has encouraged judges to reward narrow waists, V-tapers, and aesthetic balance. However, modern classic athletes have pushed the level of precision far beyond anything seen in the 1970s. Modern classic champions often share Arnold's height and stage weight, but carry significantly less body fat and far greater muscle separation. Deeply striated glutes, feathered quadriceps, and highly detailed legs are now mandatory. Leg development in particular has advanced dramatically. In Arnold's era, massive quads were not a prerequisite for victory. Today, they absolutely are. Would Arnold survive today? So the question remains, if Arnold Schwarzenegger stepped onto today's classic physique stage with his best 1970s physique, how would he place? Despite being unbeatable in his time and still embodying the ideal of bodybuilding aesthetics, today's judging standards would expose several weaknesses. First, lower body development. Arnold had solid legs and impressive calves, but his quads and hamstrings never reached the mass and separation seen in today's top classic competitors. His physique was dominated by his upper body, chest, and arms, while his legs were relatively lighter. Today, legs must match the upper body perfectly. Second, conditioning. In the 1970s, extreme dryness was not the norm. Arnold would appear softer next to today's ultra-lean athletes. Modern classic competitors look almost fat-free, with deep separations and details that simply didn't exist back then. Third, symmetry and balance. While Arnold had incredible proportions, modern judging penalizes even minor imbalances. Today's athletes are expected to present flawless X-shapes, vacuum poses, and complete balance between all muscle groups. Fourth, posing and presentation. Arnold was a showman, but today's posing routines are highly technical, choreographed, and refined. Modern classic competitors train posing with the same seriousness as lifting weights. Arnold's iconic, spontaneous style might feel less polished next to today's routines. Final verdict. Arnold Schwarzenegger would still look phenomenal on today's classic physique stage. His genetics, muscle shape, and charisma are timeless. But without adapting his training, conditioning, and presentation to modern standards, he likely wouldn't win. That doesn't diminish his legacy in any way. Arnold was the first man to show the world how beautiful the human body could be. He set the standard. He inspired generations. Today's classic physique athletes are simply continuing his legacy. In a sport that has evolved over half a century, Arnold may not win gold today, but his legend remains untouched. Modern champions stand on his shoulders. Two different eras, two types of legends. Arnold forever. And today's champions because of him. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. How do you think Arnold would stack up against today's classic physique stars? I'm Andrew. Thanks for watching till the end. See you in the next video. Let's keep growing.